How's it going, everybody? Thank you very much for hanging out for a little bit. I'm Orlando Ruiz Jr. It's not going to be the usual classic movie review because, well, you already read the title of the video and you clicked on it, so I'm sure you already know. I am reviewing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Just watched this movie not that long ago, and this was a lot of fun. This was a good time. Not the perfect Marvel movie. It's not quite in the top 10, but not in the bottom tier either. This was a really good time, and it felt like a really comic booky Saturday morning cartoon kind of a movie because of the nature of the story. Yeah, this was a really fun time, and I really think that Sam Raimi, his style really lends itself beautifully to the Doctor Strange character. The horror elements sort of woven into the story are really nicely done. There's some nice jump scares and some moments that are going to get younger viewers that I think this movie could be sort of a gateway to horror for a lot of younger viewers. Horror viewers, this is not going to scratch that itch if you're looking for a Sam Raimi bloodfest, but you know, as long as you remember that this is an MCU movie and they're letting him do as much as he can with the PG-13 rating, for the most part, he makes the most of it. And there's some stuff in this movie that made my wife turn her head and look away, which is always fun to see and gives me a chuckle. And yeah, there's some stuff in here that's definitely not for kids. You know, not gonna get into anything specific, but that's the kind of thing that I think keeps adults wanting to come back to these movies. I think we enjoy when they make these comic book movies a little more edgier, a little more exciting to watch, and Sam Raimi bringing his style and his horror roots to the table really does help out this movie. And because of that, it puts it just above that first Doctor Strange movie, even though I kind of enjoyed the tone of the first Doctor Strange movie a little bit more. But because this is the sequel, it's supposed to be, different anyways. And the nature of the story is just like I said, very comic booky, and they definitely have a good time in terms of just having fun with the concept of the multiverse. Even though I think we could have seen a lot more of the multiverse itself, it feels like because it was a lot crammed in just a 2-hour movie, it feels like that 2-hour 45 cut that we heard about might have, had a little more of, that multiverse, that madness that a lot of us came for. But either way, for the 2 hours that they gave us, I think they did put a lot in there. Benedict Cumberbatch feels like he's really coming into this role, even though he's played it a few times. It really does feel like he's enjoying himself a lot more. And I really like a lot of the dialogue in this movie. It's definitely some of the funnier stuff. Well, ever since Thor Ragnarok, and the Guardians movies, they've definitely leaned in a lot more on the humor in a lot of MCU movies. And of course, it's Sam Raimi. So Sam Raimi is going to have plenty of humor even in his horror movies. They get very, silly at times. And this movie isn't afraid to go there. And, it being an MCU movie, it still has a nice balance of sort of having those stakes, those high stakes, and having that sort of fun adventure feel. And there's definitely a really cool fantasy element to this movie that feels almost very 80s in terms of just all the wizard stuff and like the witchcraft and the magic. The CGI in the movie was very well executed and really great to look at. A lot of times in these movies, the CGI can sort of take you out of it if it's not well done, but they get it right for the most part in the big action scenes, which are really cool, especially when Doctor Strange is fighting like this huge eyeball monster, which was a really fun scene that was in the trailer, not a spoiler. Uh, the blood in the movie isn't all that much, but there is a little bit, so it's nice to see some blood in there. And there's some nice little horror homages for horror fans, and of course Elizabeth Olsen giving a great performance, and Benedict Cumberbatch doing a great job as Doctor Strange. The third act in the movie did have a scene that I felt could have been taken out of the movie, and the movie would have been a whole lot better. Just a scene that I just didn't care for. And besides that, I guess Maybe there was one or two moments that felt like there was humor that didn't quite land, but for the most part, this was a really solid, fun time, and it would be really great to have Marvel have Sam Raimi come back and direct something else in the MCU or non-MCU because he is a great visionary director, and his movies, whether you like them or not, have a lot of entertainment value. I thought the music in this movie was also a lot of fun. I think Danny Elfman did a really good job ever since 1989's Batman, of course. Been looking forward to anything that I could see his name in the credits in. And I really enjoyed his music in Tim Burton's movies, enjoyed his music in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, and he does a great job in this movie. If I was to rate this movie, I'd rate it 3 stars. So check this movie out. It's in theaters. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I'm going to go now. Thank you very much, and look out for the next classic movie review. Till next time, peace out.